Thank you for your interest in presentation about promoting interculturalism through non-formal education and evaluation procedure. The presentation is prepared by Sofia Cassola from University of Patras in Greece and Maja Brekušanin from CESIE, an NGO from Palermo in Italy. In the context of the aging European population and massive feminine migration flows, native, senior and migrant adult women suffering from multiple discrimination and absence of recognition and opportunities for improvement of their skills and knowledge. Both have a vital role in maintaining traditions and are important source of knowledge that is poorly exploited. In this context, the direct targets of our project and research are groups of native senior women and migrant young women living in Austria, France, Italy, Lithuania and United Kingdom. The project idea was born from the target needs analysis made by 5 European associations and NGOs. The project was funded under the Lifelong Learning Program, the Action Grundvik Multilateral, that is managed by Education, Audiovisual and Culture Executive Agency of the European Commission. One of the main provisions of the program was to reinforce the contribution of lifelong learning to social cohesion, active citizenship, intercultural dialogue, gender equality and personal fulfillment. Appetite for learning comes with eating. ALCE is a 24 months project. The partnership of the project consists of 5 partners from 5 European countries: Italy, United Kingdom, Austria, France and Lithuania. And the overall scope of the project is to promote intercultural and intergenerational dialogue through non-formal education that is using intangible heritage and the knowledge of women. The overall scope of ALCE project and its aims are to facilitate the inclusion of vulnerable social groups suffering from multiple discrimination, to improve the acquisition, recognition and validation of key competencies acquired through non-formal learning processes, to develop and consolidate innovative lifelong learning practices based on the intercultural and intergenerational transfer of non-tangible knowledge, to strengthen inclusive notions of European identity and active citizenship, to improve European well-being and health through better knowledge of culinary traditions and natural curative methods, and to facilitate key competencies acquisition of migrant and senior women through an active learning training course, through learning mobilities and active training during the preparation and implementation of an cultural roadmap of events, and through development of products such as a recipe book where the woman took an important role. Other objectives are also to transmit an inclusive European identity and bring learning closer to learners by implementing the European roadmap of cultural knowledge transmission that is focusing on food and curative methods and remedies, and then to increase awareness in decision makers about the importance and relevance of recognition of key competencies acquired through non-formal learning processes and propose strategies for validation of learning. So the core activity of ALCE project is active learning training course that is involving young migrant and senior native women in a learning process based on non-formal education. The course is designed in 7 learning modules The first learning module is called Community Mapping and Intercultural Learning, and the activities include introduction of the participants from different cultures, team building games and activities based on valorizing the differences within the group, and making a map of reality. The second module is learning on culinary traditions and natural curative methods. And the activities include sharing about the stories and the kitchen tools related to traditions and personal memories, culinary traditions and natural remedies, and cooking itself, presenting recipes and explaining natural remedies. The module 3 is about knowledge transmission. And the activities include spreading and sharing the knowledge of women who are involved in the training course, and creating new multicultural recipes, so-called fusion recipes that include ingredients coming from different cooking traditions. And the module 4 is ideation of a recipe book. So it's about designing and making the recipe book about culinary traditions and natural curative methods. So in this phase, women participating in the training course have an active role as they are contributing with their recipes and their ideas about how to design the book, make it user-friendly. And modules 5 and 6 are about creating a cultural event. The module is about organizing and promoting cultural events at the local level, and that's about involving different local communities. Module 7 is an evaluation of all previous modules and all other activities that are related to the modules, are also learning mobilities that will be explained in detail further on. Active Learning training course was organized in 5 European cities, as mentioned before. Learning mobilities were integral part of this educational process. Each learning mobility involved 2 to 3 women from each group in an international training. This was an opportunity to exchange ideas, meet participants from other countries, and discuss about phases of the learning pathway. The learning mobilities were 2 days structured trainings aimed at organizing the roadmap of cultural events and at visiting an event in another country. Before the departure of learners, the group gathers to assist in the preparation of the presentations, and after the learning mobility, the group gathers again to share experiences from the learning mobility. This is the roadmap of cultural events. And the events were organized in 5 cities in Kaunas, Palermo, Innsbruck, Paris, and Liverpool. And this was an opportunity for women to share their experience with local communities, to prepare fusion and traditional dishes, to host learners from another country. And also during the roadmap of cultural events, women presented and promoted the recipe book that was entitled Around the World on a Carpet of Flavors, that included recipes prepared by a woman in every country. In the pilot phase of the training course, 100 migrant and senior native women participated. In the evaluation procedure, 84 learners gave feedback. The training course was developed through 7 months in 5 European countries, and all the modules lasted for 48 hours. The women who participated were from 5 European countries who took part in the project, and migrant women were from diverse countries: Colombia, Palestine, Bangladesh, Russia, Ukraine, Serbia, and so on. The common characteristics of all participants were that they were seeking educational and work opportunities, and that they are at risk or are victims of social exclusion and discrimination. From the graphic, we can see the age of women. The youngest woman was 12 and the oldest 77 years old. The majority of participants belonged to the age of 36 to 40, 31 to 35, and 66 to 70. The overall aim of the evaluation was to analyze if interculturalism and the intercultural dialogue was promoted during the training course. Specific objectives of this evaluation were to check the impact among the target group from the piloting procedure, and if participants have improved their personal skills and key competencies. In order to check the impact on the target group, a specific evaluation tool was created and used. Pre- and post-structured questionnaires were given to the participants. The questionnaires were divided into 4 parts. The first one was about personal details. The second part was referred to personal skills related to reading, writing, communication in their mother tongue and in foreign languages, ICT skills, cooking abilities, and collaboration with others. The participants scored themselves using the Likert scale. The third part consisted of questions referred to personal attitudes, and the final part included an open question about potential problems they believe they could face during their participation in the modules. And the same question was included in the post-questionnaire in order for participants to feel free and write the problems they faced during the piloting procedure. The pre-questionnaires were given to the participants before the beginning of the modules and during the first information meeting. On the other hand, when all participants completed the piloting procedure, the post-questionnaire was given. The questions were exactly the same for the pre- and post-evaluation tools. Also, the scoring method was the same in order for the researcher to be able to export the results by comparing the values in pre- and post-questionnaires.
Findings. The participants scored themselves before and after the end of the procedure. They score about 2 fields: personal skills and personal attitudes. According to the findings, we can see a very positive improvement in personal skills field. More specific, there was an important increasement in skills about collaborating with others and reading, writing, and communication in mother languages. Also, the average percent of the sample was increased in ICT skills, communicating in foreign languages, and in cooking abilities. The majority expressed a positive feeling in participating in cooking activities, as 61% scored 5 in this question in the pre-questionnaires. After the end of the piloting, the positive answers scored with 5 marks reached 88%. Before the beginning of the piloting, the average of the participants believed that they will need to have some special skills in order to participate in an activity related to cooking. These percentages changed after the completion of the procedure. About informing others about each participant's culture and cultural heritage, the percent was approximately the same in the pre- and post activities. The whole procedure was in general a pleasant time for the participants, as they liked to collaborate with people from other countries and cultures. We draw this conclusion as 64% scored 5 in this question, in the frame of the pre-questionnaires and 85 in the post-questionnaires. Similarly, the fact to collaborate with people from different generations, as in the pre-questionnaire 67 scored 5, in the post-questionnaires 85 scored 5. Through the ALSO project, the participants has the chance to improve their skills and abilities, as we can conclude according to the results based in their personal opinion. More specific, in the pre-action, 21% scored 3, 30% scored 4, and 49% scored 5. But after the end, 60% scored 5. The improvement was translating as learning new things through this procedure. In the pre-questionnaires, 1% scored 2 about thinking what will new things, 18% scored 3, 31% scored 4, and 50% scored 5. The post-questionnaires increased and changed their attitudes with more positive answers, as 9% scored 3, 37% scored 4, and 54% scored 5. The average was kept almost the same in the question about in their professional qualification was improved. Also, the score of 5 grade was increased in 14 in the question if also helped them to improve their position in the labor market.
From the results of the evaluation procedure, we can summarize the following conclusions. Through non-formal education activities that use cooking as the means to include all, learners can improve their skills on a personal and social level, such as communication in mother tongue and foreign languages, social and civic competencies, sense of initiative, and cultural awareness. New knowledge, skills, and competencies can grow through such non-formal learning procedures. Activities that foster intercultural and intergenerational dialogue can contribute to the social inclusion of vulnerable social groups suffering from multiple discrimination. In order for learners to be able to inform other people from other cultures about their traditions and culture, activities based on cooking can be organized. Intercultural dialogue through the exchange of recipes and traditional cooking can be a pleasant and enjoyable experience. Activities that foster active participation and actively involve learners in a learning pathway that enables them to develop transversal skills in a non-formal learning environment can contribute to the social inclusion of vulnerable social groups. And in some cases, participants can become more competitive in the labor market as a result of participating in such activities. So, exchange about culinary traditions, cooking, and natural remedies can be a main factor behind the understanding of diversity, multiculturalism, and intercultural and intergenerational dialogue.